Hi, it's Sarah from Seamstress Sarah. I'm about to do an alteration, so I thought this was a really good chance for me to show you guys how to use tack marking for your own sewing projects. I've bought this shirt, but I am a typical pear shape, which means that I'm wider on the hips than I am around the bust, which means that if I buy a shirt that fits me across here, I end up with way too much space up here. And as you can see, this shirt is just a bit saggy and it doesn't fit very well. So the easy thing for me to do is to just take the seams in here and make it fit me a bit more closely on the top half.
Use normal dressmaking pins to pin where your seam needs to be altered on the outside of the garment.
Okay, the pin markings are done, but the pins are on the outside and I have to sew on the inside of the garment, so this is where tack marking comes in, and I will show you how to do that now.
Unwind a long length of a contrast coloured sewing thread and thread it onto a hand sewing needle. Use a loose, widely spaced running stitch and sew alongside the pins, removing the pins as you go. Leave a loop of excess thread every few stitches like this. You'll need this later on. Sew all the way along the alteration line. There's no need to tie off the thread at the beginning or the end. Then open the garment to the inside and you'll be able to see where your loose stitching is showing through on the inside of the garment. Pull either side of the stitch line to open up the seams. Use embroidery scissors to cut the centre of each stitch. Once each stitch has been cut, you'll be able to open your garment out flat and the contrast coloured thread will mark the alteration points. This is your tack marking. You can now turn the garment completely inside out, use your dressmaking pins and keep checking on both sides of the fabric to make sure that your alteration lines match up. Then take it to sew. A lock stitch at the beginning of the seam and then follow the tack marking and the pins down to the end of the alteration line, finishing with another lock stitch. And repeat this process for the alteration on the other side of your garment. Once you've finished, your seam line should run along the tack marking, and then you can just remove each of the tack marks with your fingers. Because there's so much excess fabric on the underarm here, I'm just going to stitch this flat so it doesn't move around while I'm wearing the shirt.
And I'm finished. Quick, easy, accurate marking for your sewing projects. If this video has helped, don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye!